Welcome to Moscow, the imposing cosmopolitan capital of Russia. The country's history and art stand side by side on every corner. Remnants of a Soviet communist era remain, while today's Russia is rich in culture and confidence. Formula E's race cars provide a modern echo on these historic streets. The racetrack, on the banks of the river Moskva and on the edge of the fortified Kremlin, built in 1485, the dazzling St. Basil's Cathedral and iconic Red Square provide the race with a beautiful theatrical backdrop, as one of the world's most influential nations has its say on the championship's destination.
What a venue and what a race we have in store for round 9 of the FIA Formula E Championship. The streets around the outside of St. Basil's Cathedral, the Kremlin and Red Square are a fantasy venue to hold a race, but in Formula E we have made it happen. It's going to be a superb race this weekend. There's absolutely no doubt about that, because qualifying was incredibly entertaining and we've got 35 laps of action coming around here, the streets of Moscow. But first of all, let's look back to what happened last time out in Berlin as Formula E went to Germany.
Round 8 for Formula E saw the championship land on the historic apron of the Berlin Tempelhof Airport. A key strategic site in the Cold War of the 1940s, the venue was now a pivotal stopping-off point for Formula E, as Europe began separating the real contenders for the inaugural championship from those that were protecting seats for Season 2. 33 laps of a 2.5-kilometre track with 17 turns was watched by 21,000 people in the latest round of this electric revolution.
Jarno Trulli had taken an astonishing pole position ahead of the Berlin E-Prix, and he started on pole with Lucas di Grassi alongside him on the run down towards the first corner. Trulli covered the inside line at turn 1, but made a mistake at turn 3, running wide and allowing di Grassi into the lead. Di Grassi's teammate Daniel Abt had a spin and dropped right to the back of the field. There was action on in the early laps as Nelson Piquet made up places, having had a poor start. Sebastian Buemi wrestled his way past Trulli into second place, but Di Grassi was already long gone. The cars then streamed past Trulli to take position after position, while Jerome D'Ambrosio passed Nick Heidfeld for third place.
You've got more energy than Buemi ahead, looking good.
Piquet lost a lot of positions towards the end of the first stint because he was saving as much energy as possible and ended up going a lap longer than everyone else. Everyone bar Piquet came in on the same lap, with Di Grassi resuming the lead of the race, while Heidfeld and Buemi did battle over third. It was turning into a great race for the Dragon team as Loic Duval passed Nick Heidfeld for fourth position, and Nelson Piquet, with his extra energy, was able to make up places too. But no one could catch Lucas di Grassi, who took a commanding victory in the Berlin E-Prix. It was delight for the Abt team at their home race, but Lucas di Grassi was disqualified for having an illegal front wing, meaning Jerome D'Ambrosio took victory for the Dragon team. That means Nelson Piquet Jr. leads the championship ahead of Buemi, with di Grassi down in third.
The disqualification in Berlin took us quite a few steps back. We were leading the championship by 17, 18 points. Now we are 10 behind, but everything is possible. There is still 19 points in play and only 10 behind, so I think every race until the last one, until the Sunday in London, will be decisive for the title fight.
Lucas di Grassi, a very frustrated man after his win was taken away from him in Berlin, and he'll be hoping to put that right here in Moscow this weekend. There you can see the Moskva River that is along the embankment stretch of the circuit. It flows for 503 kilometers, eventually joins the Volga and then out into the Caspian Sea. And there is the Kremlin on the right-hand side, the walls around it that were built in the 1400s. An incredible venue this for a race. There's what is now being known as the Michelin Church. That's up at turn 3. And talking of glamour, Lindsay Lohan is down on the grid talking to Nikki Shields.
Lindsay Lohan, fantastic to see you here on the grid in Moscow. Are you a motor racing fan?
I actually took NASCAR lessons for about a year when I did Herbie the Love Bug. So I know a little bit, I know how hot it gets and I know how difficult it is. So I get really nervous for the drivers. I'm like, please be safe.
And, you know, being here in Moscow, incredible location. Have you been here before?
I've never been here. It's my first time in Moscow. It's beautiful. We had the perfect weather. I brought it from Venice to London, then to here.
Well, thank you for blessing us. Hopefully, it definitely looks like the rain is going to stay away.
Yeah, hopefully.
Have a great day. Thanks, Lindsay Lohan.
Jean-Eric Vergne is the man who took pole position ahead of Nelson Piquet, and that's going to be a very interesting battle as far as the championship is concerned, because Vergne is not involved in the championship fight, whereas the three men behind him, Piquet, Di Grassi and Buemi, have locked horns really now at the top of the championship, with only 10 points separating Piquet, Buemi and Di Grassi in that order at the top of the championship. We can now go down and hear from Alejandro Agag and Jean Todt.
Well, Jean Todt, what an incredible location. Did you have any idea that we would literally be driving around the Kremlin?
I'm glad you enjoy, because, you know, I mean, for sometimes for people, it seems to be normal, but it's unique. It's amazing to be able to host a race in the heart of Moscow, in front of those beautiful historical monument, so we are very proud of it.
Oh, it is definitely something to be proud of, and it is certainly unique. Alejandro Agag, we're getting closer to the end of this championship, and everyone's going to be starting to talk about plans for year 2, where obviously the championship opens to the constructors as well.
Yes, well, first of all, let's finish this one. This has been quite a long season, a lot of challenges. We are very happy. Now in Moscow, incredible to be in this location. And then, yes, season 2, we're shaping up. We will put out the calendar very soon. A lot of exciting surprises and constructors, different cars, more competition.
Thanks both. Have a wonderful day.
And on pole position is the Frenchman Jean-Eric Vergne, his third pole of the season. He's yet to take a victory. Nelson Piquet has been behind Vergne every single time that Vergne's been on pole, and they'll be doing battle going down into the first corner. Third on the grid, Lucas Di Grassi. He's been in the top 3 on the last 4 grids. He'll be hoping to take a clean and fair victory this time around in Moscow. Then fourth on the grid, Sebastian Buemi. He, Di Grassi and Piquet all have the fan boost, as they are the top 3 in the championship. The fans are really choosing their favourite as far as that is concerned. Jerome D'Ambrosio won in Berlin last time out from 6th on the grid. He's starting 5th. Can he do the same? Nico Prost is going to be starting in 6th position on the grid. In 7th is Daniel Abt, who's been in the top 10 for 8 of the 9 races so far this season in qualifying. He'll be hoping for another strong result. Heidfeld took his best result of the season so far. Last time out in Berlin, he finished 5th. He'll be starting 8th on the grid here. The Kremlin in the background, the Moskva River on the left-hand side, and 20 electric race cars about to hurtle down towards the first corner as we wait for the lights to come on. It's Jean-Eric Vergne on pole position on the left-hand side as we look at it. Alongside him is Nelson Piquet Jr. All 5 lights are on, and we go green in Moscow. It's a lot of wheel spin again from Vergne. That could give Piquet an opportunity as they come down towards turn 1, and it does. Piquet's on the inside line and into the lead of the race. Right behind him is Lucas Di Grassi, but it's Piquet, Vergne, Di Grassi as they make their way through the first corner. Nice and wide as we go on board with Sam Bird. Looks like he's lost out. Well, no, he's just behind Salvador Duran still. Up into 2, the bumpy section of the circuit. Daniel Abt has made his way past Jerome D'Ambrosio, but this is where it tightens up as they swing through the left-handers. Are we all going to get through here safely? It looks like it so far. There's D'Ambrosio, then it's Prost, then it's Heidfeld. Then going out wide, there is Justin Wilson trying to go around the outside of Antonio Felix da Costa. Really strong move from Justin Wilson.
Brilliant move by Justin Wilson, using some of his IndyCar experience, use the outside line and make a lot of places up. Well done.
As they file through the chicane at Gosny-Dvor for the first time. Going straight on there is Loic Duval. He had a shunt there this morning in free practice, so maybe he's decided just to not bother with the chicane and then he'll be able to make it through.
Discretion being the better part of Valor right there.
Exactly. Are we going to have any lunges going into the hairpin?
There was one.
Jarno Trulli trying to get past. Oh, and there's Tonio Liuzzi going right to the outside of Duval, trying to go around the outside of Duval. He's going to run out of room there. Now they come through across the line to complete lap 1. So that's the finish line just on the exit of that corner. They're now already on lap 2. Coming down into the left-hander and out onto the start straight again. We're on board with Jean-Eric Vergne, 2nd place, just like Punta del Este. Too much wheel spin at the start. Piquet says, thank you very much.
Piquet's great job. He must be looking back, seeing Jean-Eric Vergne behind him right now, thinking, okay, I've gapped the championship leaders here, or the guys that are chasing me rather. Here we go.
Yeah, Piquet is the man leading the Formula E Championship at the moment. 2 points clear of Buemi, but Buemi is down in 4th position. But we're only in the early stages. Look at this side-by-side action. I think that's Da Costa battling with Trulli.
Trulli's gone forwards. This is, normally Jarno qualifies well and then has some issues. He's going forwards. He passed Justin Wilson a couple of corners ago there.
And what a shot that is as they come through turn 11 and out in front of the Kremlin and St Basil's Cathedral. A little bit of a touch there maybe for Antonio Felix da Costa in the blue Amlin car as he tries to get past Justin Wilson in front of him. But there's 0.8 of a second between Piquet Jr. in first and Vergne in second, then half a second back to Lucas Di Grassi in third place. So Vergne, whilst he wanted to sort of disappear and leave the championship rivals behind him, he's now very much in the middle of that fight.
Yeah, that wheel spin cost him a lot there. Just, you were asking how important the start was earlier. It just shows you it's so important to get every little part right. And yeah, he's got his work cut out because passing is going to be at a premium today. And it's so easy to make a mistake. All these bumps on this part, especially this part of the course that they're at right now.
Now, a little of a slide there from Buemi, and then it's a bit of a gap back to Daniel Abt, who's running in 5th position. You can see the order there on the left-hand side. And Justin Wilson still stacked up behind Jarno Trulli as he tries to find a way past. The race leaders already down to the Gostinny Dvor chicane, named after the old merchants market that's at this chicane. Now has been turned into a massive exhibition centre with a huge glass roof. It's a stunning structure, but it's Piquet who is leading the way here in Moscow.
Sam Bird's made a couple of spots up there, gone from 12th to 9th so far. So he's had a terrible day so far. Hopefully he can make something happen in the race, because just utter frustration this morning for him.
Piquet sets the fastest lap of the race, a 13.0, 0.2 of a second quicker than anyone else out there. A very strong performance from the Brazilian so far. And the other thing to watch out for, of course, as ever, is the energy management. We'll be getting battery percentages throughout the race, and who can manage their energy best. Piquet got a lap more than anyone else in Berlin. Everyone pitted on the same lap except Piquet and his Team China teammate Charles Pic. They stayed out one extra lap, and as a result were able to go much quicker in the second stint, and that's how Piquet managed to climb up the order. Spoke to Hans-Jürgen Abt, the boss of the Abt squad, and said, can he do that again? And Hans-Jürgen said, no, we've got it covered. We can do whatever he can do. So that'll be interesting to see.
But he's done it a couple of times this year. Every race I've been at, certainly you've looked at the power used, the usable power left, and he's always had that advantage. And he's doing something different in the car while maintaining the lap speed that the other guys aren't able to do. You can see there's a bit of lift and coast going on there. Not massive amounts.
At the moment, the top four look pretty equal in terms of that. Here's a look at the start again. You'll see the wheel spin and the smoke coming off from the back of Jean-Eric Vergne's car. It was a pretty clean start throughout, but just watch Vergne here on the left-hand side. You can see the back end going as well. D'Ambrosio got a bad start too. That's why he lost out, but that was an open goal for Piquet. Down into the left-hander of turn 1. Di Grassi slotting into third, 3 wide further back, but they all just about make it through safely. Very well behaved, and up through the kinks further on, and there you can see it.
Just smoked the tyres, and that was all she wrote, really. Yeah, as wide as it is on the entry and exit to turn 1, if they made a mistake there and got together, there'd have been some words, I would imagine, because it is so wide on exit there.
And this is a look on board with Nelson Piquet, and it was clear in front of him, but managed to just... But it got even clearer in front of him as he came down into turn 1.
That's a great view right there, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had Tonio Liuzzi come into the pits for the Trulli team, so not quite sure what's happened to Tonio. Hopefully we'll try and find out, but he has come into the pits, which is a shame. He started at the back of the field and is now running at the back of the field. Now look at the energy usage here, and it's pretty similar. Sebastian Buemi, if anyone, has a slight advantage over the rest of the pack, but only by a couple of percent. So in these early stages, we're on lap 6 of 35 already. As Nelson Piquet sets another fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 12.495. His gap back to Vergne is now up to 2.1 seconds, with Di Grassi tucked right up behind Jean-Eric. Now this is an interesting new graphic we've got for you. These two in the back, you can see the kilowatt of power that they're using in their fight. So you'll see D'Ambrosio's doing about at 146 to 148, and Abt is pretty similar actually. Looks like they're running on a similar power usage at the moment.
Everybody's behaving themselves right now. It's early in the race, they're just sort of settling in, getting everything, getting laid to land. I expect business to pick up a little bit as things go on.
Nelson Piquet's been on the radio talking to his team and saying, I want to be leading the race, but I don't want to use too much energy. And at the moment, he is using kind of the most of the field, not by a huge amount, but certainly more so than we saw when he was managing his times in Berlin. And he's got a 3.1 second advantage up at the front. He's setting the fastest lap of the race
by a second.
But will that come back to harm him? That's going to be the question that Piquet has to try and deal with. This is second, third and fourth, all in a queue. Vergne, Di Grassi and Buemi. On board with Jean-Eric Vergne. Down towards the left-hander of turn one, where they swing left out onto Kitai-Grodzki. Didn't quite catch what Nelson was saying there.
Watch out the temperature. He goes up, you have to go on to the front.
Brake balance talking about?
Yeah, maybe.
Sounded like going to the front. Jean-Eric Vergne, one of his real Achilles heels this year has been energy saving. He seems to have got the hang of it.
15.3.
Yeah, it certainly looks as though Vergne is running quite high there and getting out of shape on the way into the chicane.
Yeah, there's a bit of a jump there, and he pulled over hard to the left at the same time. He's looking down there. It looks like he was looking at maybe changing the mat position as he was coming through there.
So there you can see Piquet now has 5% less than Sebastian Buemi in fourth position. So Buemi's kind of doing a Piquet really, considering the last couple of races, and just saving his energy, sitting behind this fight in front of him as they come down into the left-hander. So as they come across the line, Buemi has 59% of energy remaining. So we'll compare that to the next lap and see how much he uses.
Piquet just lost 7/10 that lap.
Well, because he's right behind Sam Bird and he's trying to get past the Englishman, and now he has managed to do so. So I don't know whether that
Give him a
was the
little
issue.
wave there. No, I think I've got a funny feeling he thought, I'm maybe using a little too much. Especially his default is to really save compared to the other guys.
Up into Soraya Square once again through this sequence of left-handers, and then out and up the hill, Macau style.
So important to get that whole sequence right.
13.5.
Again, that's a Piquet.
Yeah, you got to get that whole sequence right, because one leads into the next and carries the momentum all the way up that hill, which is can be difficult for the cars. And any loss of momentum, you definitely pay for in lap time and use of energy. Now are they going to catch Sam here before turn 11? Is he going to get out of the way? He's having just a terrible weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been into the pits, and I'm not 100% sure why. Oh, Lucas Di Grassi almost tapping the back there of Jean-Eric Vergne as they come into the final corner now. And out across the line to start lap number 10 of 35 here in Moscow. And, well, I think it looks like it's about 5 or 6% a lap by the looks of things, because Buemi was down to about 5 or 6% less than when he came across the line previously. So if he's got a 5% advantage, then the other thing to consider is if you come into the pits with 4%, it means you can't do a lap.
Yep.
But if you come in with 6%, maybe you can do a lap. It's not about saving one whole lap.
How accurate is that system, though?
Well, it's the telemetry that comes off.
But that's what I'm saying, how accurate is that telemetry? Because it's one thing if you're doing a pit stop and putting fuel in the car, then you can short fuel, take less. But when you're actually swapping cars, as you said, there's not much point going in with a nice...
Oh, and there's a look up the inside from Jaime Alguersuari going past Antonio Garcia coming into turn 3. So that's Alguersuari taking 13th place away. Wasn't really expecting to see overtakes there, but...
Caught him sleeping a little bit, didn't he? That was, nice.
Cross down towards the left-hander at turn 1 once again, and out up towards Soraya Square. You can see there is a big gap back to Daniel Abt, as you were saying, who still has Jerome D'Ambrosio tucked right up behind him. And then Prost and Heidfeld are battling as they were in Beijing. No one's upside down yet though, so that's a positive as they crest the hill at 2 and then into the right-hander. And then we wait for Sam Bird to come through. Now he's a lap down. And then it's Abt, then it's D'Ambrosio, then it's Prost. The three of them, and with Heidfeld as well, all pretty much line astern. Jarno Trulli is still holding up to Costa, Wilson, Alguersuari in the gang. In 10th position at the moment.
Do you see how little the cars are moving compared to qualifying? It's like that extra 50 kilowatts really makes the cars, get lively on the bumps. We saw Karun Chandhok spin coming up turn 6 there.
Oh, lock up there from Jerome D'Ambrosio. Manages to get it back in and not lose too much time. This is a replay now of Jarno Trulli with Antonio Felix da Costa right up behind him. Whoa, and he's gone to the inside line of the chicane. That's brave stuff from da Costa, and he forces his way through. Right,
I did not expect a pass there, did you?
And then, well, they've been swapping positions for ages, Trulli and da Costa. So that might have been after that. As we go on board with Wilson, that was an old one. So that was da Costa trying to get past Trulli early on, and then now Now, has he got past, or did Trulli go straight on at the chicane and hold the position? We'll try and keep an eye out as they come through shot now.
Looks like they're not exactly feeling too good about each other at this point. It's, yeah, they're a very aggressive place to pass turn 7.
And here they're still going at it. So Da Costa made the move on Trulli. I think Trulli's gone straight over at the chicane and held onto the place, which to me seems a little bit dodge.
Yeah, you're probably not allowed to do that. I would say, but let's see if he tries it again here.
Yeah, let's see. As he tucks right up behind the back of the Trulli car.
No, I would be surprised if he manages this one. No. Maybe a move into 11. What do you reckon? Is he setting up? Trying to get off this chicane if he's making that move. It looked like he got off there quite well.
He was tucked right up behind Jarno Trulli as they come through the left kink, maybe a little far back.
Too far back, yeah.
Because the braking zone is pretty much coming through that left-hand kink still.
But the red mist is, you know, is down, and that means you can sometimes do superhuman things, or you think you can anyway, until they go wrong.
Through they come to start their 14th lap of the race so far. This little train forming up behind Jarno as they come across the line and into the left-hander, out onto the embankment once again, running right up close to the wall. Piquet's got 22% remaining. Buemi has 32% remaining. So the Edam's crew looking strong. Piquet looking strong in terms of track position, but he might have to do some serious saving in the second stint of the race. Now it looks as though Justin Wilson's having to defend from Jaime Alguersuari just behind this pair. They go, well, we'll try and catch a glimpse of that, but Trulli is going defensive into pretty much every corner, struggling to get the car turned in. And who comes out in front behind Alguersuari? So he did manage to get past Justin Wilson, and so Jaime Alguersuari is up into 12th place. Looked like he had the outside on the run up towards turn 2, but he's managed to get the job done nevertheless, as we're back on board with Antonio Felix da Costa, so close to the back of the car in front.
But if you look at that pass between Justin there, they lost a bit of a gap, and you're going to see them now. Again, the Trulli train is going to reform, and off we go. But yeah, Trulli's been unbelievably defensive. It must get boring just being that defensive all the time.
He's done a personal best in the first sector this time around, Jarno Trulli, and he's trying to hold on to a vital championship point that would take him level with Nick Heidfeld, although Heidfeld's running a little bit further up the road, so it wouldn't in actual fact. As they come across the line, lap 15 of 35.
You can see from 10th back, the field is just starting to close up. And again, ahead of Jarno, it's all spaced out. Some gaps as big as a couple of seconds. There's a 3-second gap now between Piquet and Jean-Eric Vergne.
Up towards 2, Da Costa very dramatically trying to put off Jarno Trulli.
Da Costa's frustration level is going to be building here, and the moves are going to get more and more outrageous if he feels he's got even a chance of getting past, to get away from Jarno and to start trying to close that gap up to Salvador Duran.
He's going for it at the chicane again, is he? Antonio Felix da Costa looks to the inside line. There's going to be a touch there. Again, Trulli has to get out of it. Da Costa just about makes it through, and Trulli's still in the position. And I think Da Costa's saying,
come on.
That's twice I've made that move now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes all lunge-tastic down into the hairpin.
The move was on the inside there, wasn't it? If he could have got it round, but no, it wasn't doable.
But that's not... He's overtaken him twice reasonably fairly, hasn't he?
Did 2 big moves. Fair play. He's made 2, I think, very good moves, and Jarno just keeps doing what he's doing.
Box and push, okay? Box, push.
Okay, here we go.
So Piquet in this lap.
Copy, 1.5.
Is he going to use the overtake?
Buemi's using his fan boost, meanwhile, to try and get past Lucas Di Grassi. Di Grassi uses his as well to defend as they come down the start straight, and at the moment it remains the same by the looks of things. So it's still Vergne in second, then Di Grassi and Buemi in third and fourth. But Buemi obviously thought he had a decent advantage there to try and make the move stick. Didn't quite work out for him.
Nelson has not used his at all. I'm surprised he didn't use it on that in lap.
He's using it now.
Oh, so there we go.
Maybe on the run towards the chicane, that is.
Yeah, up the hill.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah. But smarter thinking then.
So Nelson Piquet Jr. has used his fan boost.
Oh, Trulli's car, not Trulli's car, Lewitz's car's got some damage on the left front.
Okay, well, we've already seen him come into the pits, so maybe that's why. Yellow flag out there somewhere on the circuit. I think it's down at
turn 1.
Turn 1. Oh, and it's a rear wing of Bruno Senna. So that is not good news for Senna, because he's probably not got much downforce, as that could call the safety car as Nelson Piquet pits. So Piquet pits from the lead of the race. That means Vergne inherits the lead. You can see that the graphics here are the time in the pits. The minimum pit stop time is 59 seconds. as Piquet climbs out and gets into the next car. The little C that you see by Alguersuari and Bird in 19th and 20th places, the little C means that they have changed and are in their second car. So Verne is trying to really eke it out here. He's only got 4% to go, and that's not how a Formula E car is meant to look. Here's a look what happens. Coming down into turn 1, he's
going
miles back.
Defensive there. He's going to, so you probably see a bit of an impact here in a second or two.
Oh, he just lost it.
Oh.
Lost it all by himself, Bruno Senna, on the exit of turn 1. Double yellow, because there are marshals on track to pick up that debris. Oh,
just
a real
caught
shame.
it. Yeah.
The weekend for Mahindra gets a little bit worse. A real shame for them.
Terrible, hasn't it? He's broken the suspension too, it looks like.
And now what's going on here? Verne, Di Grassi and Buemi absolutely nose to tail. Buemi thinks about the inside line into the final corner, not close enough. And Verne and Di Grassi
P1 on
pit.
entry. P1 when you come to the stop.
And that was Piquet's radio, I think, but Piquet should be back out in the race.
I think that was Andretti's one.
Okay.
I think that was Jean-Eric Verne with the Andretti team.
Okay, so into the pits comes Jean-Eric Verne. Into the pits comes Lucas Di Grassi. They came in that order. Verne ahead of Di Grassi, with Piquet in the lead before the pit stop window opened.
Both app cars in now. Pit lane is getting busy.
Yeah.
The problem is you get one guy's trying to come out, another guy's trying to come in, and you get these crossovers. And as narrow as pit lane is here in Moscow, that can be a little dangerous.
So here's Nelson Piquet, who should, in theory, retake the lead. His pit stop was 1 minute exactly, so a couple of seconds slower than it actually needed to be. But it's such a difficult job to get the pit stop time exactly spot on, as Di Grassi now heads out. Oh, I think he might have been told to wait there, didn't he, by one of the mechanics as he exits the pit lane now, Lucas Di Grassi, and rejoins the circuit. Again, 1 minute exactly the time for Di Grassi. The minimum time is 59 seconds, so there is Di Grassi, and there behind him is Verne. So Di Grassi has got out in front of Verne. He's managed to make the leapfrog and is up into ultimately second place at the moment. But now Sebastian Buemi from the race lead is in the pits. He was fourth. He managed to go an extra lap compared to everyone else, so no matter where he comes out, he's going to have more power to burn, more energy to burn in this second stint.
Does Di Grassi have the pace, though? Has he got the pace to get up there and to challenge Nelson Piquet?
Now look at the angle that Buemi's car is in the pits, and that's because they're right at the end of the pit lane, and it's pretty much a hairpin to get out of the pit lane again, so they have to angle it severely to the left-hand side as Piquet comes through the right-hander. Di Grassi will try and hunt him down now, but it's Sebastian Buemi who's the man to be watching. Gets ready. A little countdown clock there on the left-hand side, and I don't think he's going to come out in front of these guys.
What are they?
He's in there for a long time. Oh, and he's going to come out right in front of Nick Heidfeld. The two of them right together. Buemi was in there for 10 seconds longer than he needed to be.
There, yeah. Confusion? I mean,
that's really
EDAMs
odd.
have been so
because
buttoned down
the
this
man
year.
was there with the clock saying go or don't go.
Maybe our timing's wrong, but looking where he came out of in the running order.
Well, he's back with Heidfeld and Atz now.
Oof. You're not going to win championships like that, are you?
No. Well, I mean, at least he's already got 13% more energy to burn than Piquet.
He's going to need
laps
it.
to go, but yeah, exactly. He's going to have to go for it now, Sebastian Buemi.
This has changed the complexion of the race. Piquet's got to be so careful now not to burn too much energy. Di Grassi's maybe in the catbird's feet, and Buemi's got to try and get the track position back. So, yeah, as I've just said, Di Grassi is probably the one right now sitting there thinking, okay, good.
Now, this is Jarno Trulli, and right battling with him is a man called Antonio Felix da Costa. And I think I think Trulli is getting used to seeing da Costa in his mirrors. The incident involving car 55 and 10, which is da Costa and Trulli, will be investigated after the race.
Yeah, and the 18's involved in that too, which is Liuzzi, and there was some damage to Liuzzi's car, so.
Through the right-hander they come. Stefan Sarazan's under investigation because he was a second quicker than he should have been, so we may see a drive-through penalty or something. Oh, there it's literally just popped up. Drive-through penalty for car 30, did not respect minimum pit stop time.
That's their second one that moved to the back of the grid too before the race, so.
Astonishing news from EDAMS. EDAMS have said that they thought the minimum pit stop time was 68 seconds,
No.
not 58 seconds. And look at the times.
No.
Buemi, 1 minute 8 seconds. Nico Prost, 1 minute 8 seconds. Meanwhile, on the circuit, we're looking at a move from Justin Wilson, forcing his way past Jarno Trulli.
But
De Costa's got past somewhere, and Jarno
straight
does his sore shortcut.
Maybe he's been allowed to drive a different track than anybody else today.
Well, De Costa's managed to get through at some point, so he's
Love
up
to see
into
that.
10th place.
He has worked on it now for 22
Yeah.
laps, so it'd be nice to actually see how he made that pass.
But that is absolutely astonishing from Edams. They thought it was 68 seconds, not 58 seconds. Both of their drivers did a 68-second pit stop and have lost 10 seconds. Here's where De Costa got past Trulli on the run-up into 2, and he's thought, I'm bored of this.
Yeah, out of my way. Nice, very nice pass there.
No Mario Kart shortcut for Trulli there.
But it's not like Edams to make mistakes. They are not. They're a championship-winning team. So to see them do that, there had to be a reason, and there you go.
Jaime Alguersuari has just been given a drive-through penalty. He's gone over the maximum power. But we can now hear from Alain Prost. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of what on earth happened to Edams out there.
So, Alain Prost, what was the miscommunication there about minimum pit stop times?
Very clearly, we planned to do a pit stop in 68 seconds, which was exactly 68. But I don't know what happened with maybe with miscommunication during the briefing, team manager briefing. It's a mistake from ourselves, no way.
And a big cost to the result, potentially.
Don't know yet, but yeah, I mean, even if it's not a big cost, it's not the way to go for sure.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want to be in that debrief tonight.
We just looked at each other and don't really know what to say. That is a real shame for the Edams, both of the Edams drivers, because Prost is now back behind Salvador Duran, actually. And a word for Salvador Duran, who's having a great race, up in 7th position for the Amlin Aguri team. And Antonio Felix da Costa's in 9th. So Amlin really starting to get on top of things. Sam Bird out of the race. And what a difficult weekend. And I don't think Nicky's going to get to have a chat with him, really, is he? Because
it's just been horrible. And the time the wheel fell off this morning, problems in second practice. It's not been it's been a weekend to forget. And the other Virgin car just got a drive-through penalty for exceeding maximum power use. So yeah, the Virgin team has not had a good one.
Fastest lap of the race set last time around by Nick Heidfeld in 5th position, as he tries to close in on Sebastian Buemi in front of him, but he's some 2 seconds back, so he's quite by himself at the moment, Nick Heidfeld. There he is on track. He's up behind Tonio Liuzzi, but Liuzzi's a lap down. Car 21 is under investigation. Bruno Senna. Not sure what short.
For having no rear wing.
Yeah, for spinning.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Buemi is pushing hard now in 4th place. That's Nico Prost, who's up behind Salvador Duran. 10 laps to go.
Nelson Piquet is keeping the lead about 3 seconds there.
Yep, doesn't look as though Di Grassi's charge is continuing quite as much. He goes 0.2 of a second quicker on that last lap compared to Piquet. But at the moment, Nelson has got the advantage.
Definitely a shout out to Salvador Duran. He's done a very, very handy job so far. Quietly gone about his business, hasn't he? Good lap times there. And he's a fair bit behind Daniel Abt, but he's trying to eke into that. He's another 2/10 gained on that lap. But yeah, he's had a tough season, coming in late, but very, very impressive.
Yeah, and as we were saying, he arrived in Punta del Este. You can see there that Di Grassi's catching a couple of tenths a lap at the moment. But yeah, Duran arrived in Punta del Este.
13.3.
As Piquet gives a reading. I'll try one more time to talk about Salvador Duran. He came to the series in Punta del Este and hadn't driven a car for sort of 3 or 4 years, but he has an excellent track record in racing cars. He's won the Daytona 24, he's been on the podium at Monaco and Renault 3.5. Meanwhile, up at the front, Nelson Piquet only has a 3% deficit now to Lucas Di Grassi, so he's done some really good energy management there, Piquet, and this was obviously kind of the plan, to just give him that big advantage up at the front. The opposite of when he had to start at the back of the field in
12.6.
Berlin.
Yeah, and Buemi is, what, 8% behind him here, but as far as track position, just too far back there, 12 seconds back from the leader. He's not going to make that up in 7 laps, is he? Real shame.
Buemi's shout now is to get up into 3rd place because he's lapping a second quicker at the moment than Jean-Eric Vergne, has 6% more energy available, so that could see Buemi catch Vergne before the end of the race. Di Grassi took 4/10 out of Piquet on that last lap, but the gap is only 2.8 seconds still.
Loic Duval has done a good job getting back from, he was almost at the back there, wasn't he? P19, he's moved himself up to P12. He actually hit neutral, I think is what happened when he went around the hairpin. Rather than switch the car off, he hit it into neutral. So yeah, it again kind of sums up his day, but he's making a great recovery here, and he's looking at past Justin Wilson here down into turn 11.
On board, oh, Wilson's all out of shape. Is he going to get that one stopped? Just about. I thought he was going into the back of Jarno there for a moment as we go on board with the 2013 Le Mans winner, Loic Duval. Won it with Little McNish and Tom Christensen. They come down into turn 13.
He's quite tall. So how does McNish reach the pedals when Loic's driving the same car?
I don't know, actually. They might have to cross the start line once again. 7 laps to go again. Buemi was the quickest man of anyone on that last lap. The gap is now down to 3 seconds between Vergne in 3rd and Buemi in 4th. Bruno Senna has a drive-through penalty. And an incident involving Liuzzi and Justin Wilson will be investigated after the race. Not quite sure what that is, because they weren't really together on the circuit at any point.
First lap, when he got the damage. I saw obviously Liuzzi had the front wing damage early.
Yeah, maybe.
Duval's been held up here by the, obviously Justin is too by Trulli, but Loic is he's just trying to make that move.
Oh, he's out of shape on the brakes there.
Yeah, he's been doing that all day, hasn't he? One ended up he crashed at the exit.
So the Liuzzi and Wilson issue was an overtake at the chicane. So that must have been, yeah, well, not quite sure when that refers. It must have been the opening lap or so, because Liuzzi pitted at the end of lap 2. So it must have been very early on in the race, as they make their way out now across the line to start lap 30 of 35 here in Moscow. And there is Stefan Sarazan doing some donuts for the crowd. He's lost it on the brakes coming down into the hairpin. He's in 16th place all by himself, but still not great. On board with Duval again, coming down into turn 1. The gap at the front is down to 2.6 seconds.
Absolutely no coaster by Duval, did you notice that? Straight from the off the throttle onto the brake.
He's got, look how much, he's got 11% more energy than Jarno Trulli in 10th place. That's why these two are getting so frustrated, because there's one championship point up for grabs, and they've got Trulli driving around who hasn't been able to keep hold of his energy, just like in Berlin. They said, the Trulli team told me that they'd figured out the setup problem that had cost them all that energy in Berlin, but at the moment it doesn't look like it's working out for Jarno.
But he keeps taking a shortcut too every time somebody does pass him, so yeah,
so he should have more energy, really.
You think so, if he kept cutting out 3 corners of the track.
Down through turn 10 into the hairpin of 11 again, and so how frustrating a situation is like. I'm sure you never had them because you could just get past anyone, but
no.
How frustrating is it?
I would have made a mistake by now and crashed into either the guy in front or the wall at this point, which is easy for me to say nowadays. We've got a 2.5 second lead between first and second between Piquet and Di Grassi right now. It's 5 laps to go. I don't see that being closed up, do you?
No, it's 1.9 seconds between them as we have a look back. Oh, okay, so it was Sarazan trying to get past Jaime Alguersuari coming down into the hairpin, and he's just locked the rears as he tries to get the car stopped, trying to get 15th place away, and away he goes.
Nice donut.
Yeah, we should do some more of them, actually. Here's a look at it again. Ooh, very late in the day. Oh, I don't know if that was intentional, actually, or whether the rear started to get away from under braking.
Judging by what I felt this morning, the rear really gets away from you all the time there, and if you just take it a little too deep, you're going to have the same problem that Stefan Sarazan just had.
3 laps to go here on the streets of Moscow. A wonderful venue for a race, and it's been a very entertaining race at that. Up over the crest at turn 2 into Staraya Square. Oh, you can hear them. I think that was clouting the curves there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the end plates of the front wing as they clouted the curb. Up the hill here, look at that. You can really see the undulation of the track. Up here, coming to break into turn 7. Into this really tight chicane. Lucas locking up just a little bit on the way in there. Oh, we've lost another wing.
Oh, and that is Jarno Trulli's. Jarno Trulli's rear wing has gone. And that is at the hairpin, so I think someone might have tried to force their way through. Oh my goodness, it's Duval. Oh, and he's gone on the back of him.
Poor Justin lost out too.
Well, that's sort of good news for Justin, because now he's got both places, but...
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bit unfortunate, really, wasn't it?
For Justin.
Yeah.
And Loic. I mean, truly, honestly, the straight line on the chicane like that, it's not on, really. So obviously he's got to come in for a new back wing with Jarno Trulli. Loic's not going to, he's not going to change it, though. He didn't damage it.
No, it looks like he can stay out there.
Yes.
PK up into the right-hander. Yellow flag still out. I presume that's down at turn 11 still.
It is.
PK it is, leading the way on now the penultimate lap of the race, looking to take his second race victory of the season. De Grassi is chasing him.
2.5.
They come into the chicane. That was PK radioing in.
Nelson got close to the pit wall, the wall on the exit there, the chicane. I think with the amount of lead he's got, he'd just give a little bit more margin, but he's leading the race and I'm sitting here, so he's probably doing it just right.
If things stay like this, Nelson Piquet will extend his championship advantage to 12 points over Sebastian Buemi, and Buemi will just be 2 points in front of De Grassi.
Buemi.
But the battle is really on for third place on this final lap. Can Sebastian Buemi claim a couple more points? Piquet starts his final tour of this Moscow circuit.
1.8.
2.29 kilometers to go for Nelson Piquet, and Team China are looking for their second win of the season. But there was only half a second between Verne and Buemi as they crossed the line. There in second place is De Grassi. Just wait for the third place battle. That's the one to watch. First and second are pretty much spread out. Duval and Trulli's incident is under investigation. Nelson Piquet on the final lap of the race, in a race that he has absolutely dominated. It was an interesting strategic choice to use loads of energy. He's only got 5% left, but a lap here is some 6%, so that's plenty remaining for Nelson Piquet Jr.
But it's a carbon copy of his Long Beach race, wasn't it? Just domination. Absolutely.
Just make the breakaway at the front. Okay, pit a lap earlier, but you've got the race position, the track position, and the advantage. Into the hairpin, in front of St. Basil's Cathedral and the Kremlin, comes Nelson Piquet Jr. He's just got one more corner to go, and then he is going to take victory in Moscow. The checkered flag falls, Piquet wins.
Done.
Second place for Lucas de Grassi. Who's going to be third?
Thanks, guys. Perfect day. Thank you very much.
And it's Buemi across the line in third.
We're getting
and
close.
Heidfeld is fourth. And
Thank you
fifth
again,
is Jean-Eric
guys.
Verne.
Thank you, everybody, every single person.
What happened there?
So,
Good job. Thank you so much. Really, I cannot express how happy I am.
Sorry for cutting across Piquet's radio there, but it's all kicked off on the final lap as we thought it would for third place. Buemi's wrestled third away, fourth is Nick Heidfeld, and fifth is Jean-Eric Verne. So the three of them crossed the line, 0.8 of a second between them. So hopefully we might get a look at that, but it's Nelson Piquet who's the race winner, and that's Antonio Garcia coming across the line. It's 10th place for Justin Wilson, 11th for Loic Duval. There is Mr. Liu, the boss of Team China, and he has seen his driver take another victory, as he did in Long Beach.
Think of where Team China have come from.
So let's have a look at it again. On board with Sebastian Buemi. Oh, goodness, so he's gone in there. He's already tried to get past. He's had a little bit of argy-bargy with Jean-Eric Verne, so he's already had to go into turn 2 that we didn't see.
And he's lost momentum up the hill. And the fight. No, he's catching him now.
And he's getting very, very close. Verne will defend. Buemi looks to the outside line on the brakes, contact between them, and Buemi goes straight over. He's done a Trulli. Now he's slowed down to try and let Verne through. Verne hasn't come through, and then Verne's been caught out by Heidfeld.
The problem for Verne is he's on the dirty line of the track as well. He's on the outside there.
But Buemi definitely, it seems to me, slowed to let Verne back through to me.
Yeah, well, he's at least got some defence. But if it's wrong for one to go through, is it wrong
Here
for
we
the
go,
other?
here we go. This is Heidfeld.
Nick's got to be thinking, thank you.
As they come down into the hairpin, and that was after it all had started, really, and Heidfeld,
That would be a nose cam. Yeah.
So hopefully the fans have enjoyed this race here in Moscow. It's been, I have.
That last lap was quite something, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But Nelson Piquet, the race winner here in Moscow. His second win of his Formula E career, and it was just as commanding as his first. Congratulations from Sebastian Buemi. How livid will he be about Edam's unbelievable error? I don't want to be too harsh on them. They're an incredible team. Dams are an incredible team, but I've never quite seen a sort of mistake like that, I don't think.
I think the Edams boys will be hard enough on themselves after that one.
Here's a look at the results after 35 laps of action. Nelson Piquet Jr. taking the win, 2 seconds clear of Lucas di Grassi. Third for Sebastian Buemi, despite that pit stop trouble and final lap trouble. 11 seconds off the lead from Piquet, but only 9 seconds behind di Grassi in second place. Fourth place for Nick Heidfeld. Great fight from him. Jean-Eric Vergne, the man who started on pole, finishes down in 5th, just in front of Daniel Abt. Great result for Amlin Aguri, 7th and 8th, getting 2 strong points finishes, having started in 10th and 14th on the grid. Loic Duval and Jerome D'Ambrosio just missing out on points for the Dragon Racing team. Karun Chandok there in 13th position. And then we had Sam Bird not finishing the race, and Trillian Garcia had to pit towards the end of the race and were unable to make it to the finish. Bruno Senna hit the wall. But let's hear from our race winner here in Moscow, and it is Nelson Piquet.
Well, Nelson Piquet, you're our second double winner in the Formula E Championship, and starting to make a little bit of a cushion between yourself and Peter in the championship.
Yeah, it's hard to express our feelings these moments. I mean, I knew coming back to a track like this it would be our niche. You know, I like places like this. It's really bumpy, it's really tricky, really difficult, and our car handles really good in these situations. So no, we did what we were supposed to do over here. We did our homework, which was qualify well, win the race, extend our lead, and that was our homework, and we did it. And let's go to London now.
And you had an absolutely brilliant start when you took Vergne at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe I was a bit lucky in Punta, but it seems that a luck mixture was some good settings got involved again this time.
It kind of looked like you were slightly struggling with battery management in sort of the first third of the race. Did you have any concerns there? I think you were on about 20% when Buemi was still on 29.
Well, when you're catching the leader and you're trying to play a different strategy, you always try to flip things around a little bit, you know, try to save more than the leader to try to do a reverse sort of strategy. And once you're in the front, you just have to maintain it. You know, I was trying to save a little bit, but I wasn't doing a recovery race like coming from 3rd or 4th. So obviously that makes a big difference when you're leading than when you're, you know, trying to catch the leader.
And are you pleased now that you've got a 12-point lead ahead of London?
Really pleased. I mean, obviously, the team did an awesome job. I can't thank them enough. You know, it's thanks to them, and we all worked very hard, and we're going to be even more prepared for London.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Nelson. Well done.
So victory for Nelson Piquet Jr. Second place man was Lucas di Grassi, finished 2 seconds behind. And you do have to wonder if he had been able to get past Jean-Eric Vergne in the early stages, whether he'd have been able to challenge Nelson Piquet a little bit more. Let's find now from Lucas di Grassi. The second place man is talking to Nicky Shields.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I am. I'm happy. I didn't have to defend. Actually, I was attacking. I think we saw different races. Yeah, I was attacking in the end, but the temperature with the battery was just too high at the end. We had plenty of energy, but this car has a problem with the management of the battery temperature. That you can't do anything when the battery goes up, and that's what I had. I had a 1 second gap. I had much more energy than Nelson in the last 3 laps, but I couldn't use it, because if not, the battery was going to be too high and I was going to lose too much.
Let's hear from Buemi after his 3rd place.
So, Sebastian Buemi, dramatic end to that race, taking 3rd from Vergne at that chicane. Do you think it was a legal move?
It's difficult to say, you know. I felt he ran into me, so I had no other option than cutting the chicane, and then he let me by. You know, I wanted to let him by. It was a bit of a misunderstanding at that point, so I just continued. We will see, but he cut it so many times the chicane, so I think from that point, I think we have a bit more margin than him then.
And also disappointing about the confusion for minimum pit stop time.
Yeah, really disappointed with that. So we'll have to look at it internally, because it was really a lot of lap time loss there.
Okay, thanks very much.
There they go, side
Good
by
old
side.
hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, look how far back Heidfeld is.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near any of this battle as he winds his way through. So this is Heidfeld's view. He comes up to the chicane. They all kick off up in front. He goes through the chicane like a good boy, and these two go, no, after you, no, after you, no, after you.
And Nick goes, okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
And Nick says, danka, danka. I'll go up the inside, coming down into the hairpin. As the trophy is now about to be handed by the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, Dmitry Kozak, to Nelson Piquet. Race winner in Moscow and extending his championship advantage. Let's just have a look at the championship standings. It's Nelson Piquet at the top, and now he's got 12 points clear now over Sebastian Buemi. That's a strong advantage.
It is. I mean, it can go away in a hurry, but you'd rather have it than not at this point, absolutely. And I'm sure if Buemi has some issues tonight with straight line on the chicane, the hole that he's got to dig himself out of is even bigger.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The championship layout could change again depending on what the FIA decide later on. But thank you very much for joining us this weekend. Well, today in Moscow, it's been a spectacular location for a race in front of the Kremlin. From Dario Franchitti, myself, Jack Nicholls, Nicky Shields in the pits. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you for the title decider in London.
When the lightning strikes, let's stand together. When the moment